Welcome to today's video. Today we are doing another new foundation, a 2-day wear test. Today is day 2. I wanted to get this up for Sunday. I might even be able to get it up today. We'll see. Saturday. Let's talk about it. It is Patrick Ta Major Skin Hydra-Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation for natural glow. If you've never been here before, my name is Kiki and I'm a little bit odd. And one thing that really bothers me, and I don't hide it very well, I don't hide it at all, is products with really long names. And Patrick Ta's names kind of make me crazy. So he is straight in line with making something way too long, so you can't really reference it. So you can just say Patrick Ta Foundation, because who's going to remember this? And also, Skin Hydra-Luxe, no one's going to remember that. The Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation for natural glow, I think it's just going to be the Patrick Ta Foundation until he has a new one, and then he better fix it. So let's move on from me being strange. This comes in 30 shades. They were in store, which is shocking because in my experience, new products are not in store for a couple of weeks. There are 30 shades and the lightest shades are incredibly light. If you are somebody who's quite fair and you have a difficult time finding foundations, you need to take a look at this. I can't say how close the models are to what the foundations are, but I can say I did some hand swatching. I grabbed several bottles, did some swatching, and I was amazed at how fair these shades went. They also have a lot of deep shades. So black skin, kind of any undertone that you have and any depth of tone, you are going to be covered. Those of us who are in the middle, light medium, guess what? Once again, no. A lot of brands, they only have one shade in light medium. It's light and then medium. Medium's always too dark, light is always too light. This one isn't bad. I would say a hair too light. I got 2 colors, or shades. I got 7, which is what I'm wearing today, and I got 6. I actually put this on my face. So half the face, this side of the face, my right, your left, I did 7 on a clean face that had nothing on it. No sunscreen, no skincare, nothing, because I wanted to figure out what I was going to do. And on this side of the face, my left, your right, I have shade number 6, which is a little bit more bright. It actually probably had a better undertone. This one has a peachy undertone, but I think it works all right. It doesn't have an orangeness to it, which peachies can have. So here's my face. I'm bringing it in on the screen here. I think it's on this side, could be on this side, where you're seeing both colors. Maybe that will help you figure out where you are in the shade range for this line. Now, before we get started, I will talk about the product, but first we need to talk a little bit about me so you can figure out if anything I'm saying here in this review applies to you. I am 62, which is not a skin type, but my skin is older, so I'm starting to get that older skin look right around here that is oh so charming. My skin is on the dry side. It's not super dry, but I also use serums and I use essences and I use 2 moisturizers, an eye cream and sunscreen before I put on my makeup, so I have a lot of emollients going on. Nonetheless, when the weather's very dry, my skin feels dry. Even though I use Retin A, it's very rare that I have flakiness that you can see. So maybe that can help you figure out what works for you. I'd say dry, not terribly dry. I have maybe a little bit oil right here, but I am not oily. You should also know that makeup stays on me. I know a lot of people, and I can think of the people that I watch, actually, where the nose, the makeup always goes away, or over here it goes away. For me, I don't find that that's a problem. My foundation seems to wear very evenly. Of course, at the end of the day, it doesn't look the same, but it doesn't look patchy or strange. So that's my skin, and hopefully designed to help you figure out if what I'm saying works for you. Let's talk a little bit more about this. It is medium coverage, it is radiant finish, and that's no joke. And it is for dry, combo, or normal skin. Oily skin people are not going to like this. Even if it feels comfortable on your skin, I find that people who have oily skin don't want radiant foundation. They want something more matte. It may not feel oily, but they don't want it to look oily either. A lightweight and luminous foundation with serum-inspired ingredients and a buildable medium coverage formula that boosts hydration and blurs the look of imperfections. There are 3 forms of hyaluronic acid which visibly plump and hydrate. Plant-derived squalene visibly improves elasticity and diffuses fine lines. And kombucha, which enhances the look of smoothness and radiance. I had no idea. None. Now, I'm not going to read all the ingredients because most of them are not pronounceable for me, but I do want to call out a couple of nice things that are above the halfway point. Above the halfway point means they're in greater quantity. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd ingredient, glycerin. Glycerin is a hydrator, very similar to the way hyaluronic acid is a hydrator. And glycerin is, it can be, I think, in its absolute form, which I've never seen its absolute form, on the teeny bit sticky. I don't find that this is sticky, but in case you don't know, glycerin, hydrator, and skin identical. Your skin knows what it is and can work with it very well, and it's a good thing. And then a couple of ingredients down from that is the squalene and propanediol. Then about after the halfway point, we have shea butter, black tea ferment. So ferments are actually nice. Maybe that's what they mean by the kombucha. I bet that's it. Okay. Allantoin, which I think is also a skin communicator. It helps your skin. It signals to your skin to behave in a more youthful manner. It's very good. Tocopherol, sodium hyaluronate, and sunflower seed oil. So there are moisturizers in here and hydrators in here. And I think that's it, you guys. We're going to cut away to application 1. I am going to be using cream products and powder products. We're going to see how the foundation works with 2 different sunscreens and several different liquid products, cream products and powder products. Let's get into day 1 now. And today I'm using the Innisfree or Innisfree sunscreen. I like this, even though it leaves me very shiny, it sets. So I thought that would be a good tester. And I think half we'll do fingers, half we will do Beauty Blender, and then tomorrow we'll do the brush. My Beauty Blender, she opened her mouth today, so time for a new one. And I'm just going to take some out of here, put it on my hand, and pick it up that way. Oh, I hope I have enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dot and then do Beauty Blender, because Beauty Blenders really swallow a lot, and I need to have enough. Actually, let me just do this. So, finger application, no problem. A little goes a long way, and it's not reacting poorly to my skincare or my sunscreen. It feels kind of cushiony. So when I did a pump in the store yesterday, I was surprised how it looks like it's something that would be very nice for dry skin. Someone with oily skin might not enjoy it. So kind of moisturizing, a little bit thick. It's, in other words, it's not watery. It's not a cream. It does come out in a pump, but there you go. So that's one side. Let's just take a look. It feels to me like not a ton of coverage. You can see right here where no coverage to coverage. So it feels very light coverage. They say that it is buildable. But again, I'm not sure. You know, I might go back to Sephora today. So for our second day, I'll have some more. And I won't have to worry about it. I'm getting more coverage here because I'm using more product. Oh, that's nice. Okay. If you can see from cheek to cheek, perhaps you can, I can. A little more coverage on this side. So you can go on with more, and it's still behaving nicely with my skincare and my sunscreen, not a problem. I'm going to go on with a little bit more on the cheek. And well, I have a lot left over, so let's just go to town and see just how buildable it is. Beauty blender on this side for building. Nice. And also builds nicely with the fingers. Right off the bat, I am going to say, if you have dry skin, I think you're going to like this. Now I feel like I have too much, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to have to keep on pushing it around because the slip is really good. There's good stretch here. All right, so there we have it, and I still continue to think that it's a little bit too cool for me or too light for me, and there's a great deal of shine here. Tomorrow I will use a different sunscreen, something that's a little bit more matte, the Mineral Magic, and see what the real finish is. But they are not saying this is matte, this is natural. I haven't read anything. My first day, I like to sit here without reading anything. I mean, I peeked, but I didn't memorize and I didn't take notes. So I'm going to give this 5 minutes. I'm going to pretend I'm doing my eyes. I might even do my eyes. And then we'll come back and we'll try some liquids and powders. So back in flash. I'm back. It's probably been less than 10 minutes. The sheen has not come down. I don't really expect it to. It feels pretty set. It's hard to tell because my sunscreen has a little bit of a, you can feel it on your face. I'm going to go in with the Hourglass blush. I bought this in Whim and it was very, very vibrant. I'll post that video right here, and I'm getting ready to do a roundup comparison ranking of the 4 that I have gotten in the last several weeks. But I got this in another color. A viewer said that Scene was perfect for her, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I am going on with the Alexandra Anel brush. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and first I kind of stretch it out a little bit before I go in with the brush so I don't get a big gloop. I did apply this with fingers yesterday and that was lovely too, and it's super pigmented, so going lightly and then a little bit more. And now I'm just going to try it with my fingers. Again, I'm going to start really lightly because very pigmented. Rub it off and then move quickly. Very nice. Okay, so super nice finger application. Oh, Grace is having a little sneezing sitch. Great, no problems with the brush, no problems with the fingers. I might even like the fingers better, but there's no brush marks that were left behind. I'm going to take a brush that is not made for this. This is an Anastasia brush. It's actually a highlighter brush. We'll see. Oh, that works fine. I'm going to wipe off so I can just get to the blending portion of the program. Nice. Again, there's no brush marks. All right, so far, creams are doing just splendidly, not a problem at all. I think I'll go on with my By Terry powder and see how those work together. I get the feeling there's still some radiance here, but again, this is a Radiant Foundation. You're not going to make this matte. Just for me, I kind of want to get a healthy skin-like glow. Not too much of a glow. So there's half the face powdered, half of the face super shiny. All right, this is a level that I like where there's a little bit on the forehead, you can see there's a little bit of a skin-like sheen, and on the cheeks as well. I didn't do heavy powder beyond this point here. You know, mostly the cheeks, under the nose, the lip area, the old skin area is where I hit it, and I think it looks really very, very nice. I am going to now hit it with bronzer because it is a little bit too light, but not terribly so. I think I'm going to mix these two bronzers, the Jones Road, and I'll put the colors down below. Pick up some of one, pick up some of the other. And I just want to do something light because I really not sure what this color will look like with this bronzer. There's no dragging or pulling. I remember I didn't really powder right around this area. And that's the look. A little powder, a little cream. I am going to pull you in and we'll both take a look at the same time. I do think it's very pretty on the skin. I do feel like it might be a little too sheeny for me. It's working well with everything. Yeah. Okay, so I think what we're going to do, because I am a little bit earlier than usual, I'm going to come back in about 2 hours and we'll check in. I will be putting my glasses on, so rub off is kind of guaranteed to happen, but we'll see. Back in a flash. I'm back. It's about 3.5 hours later, and I got off track, blah, 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 and I was starting to feel a little tight and dry right here. And I thought, let me check the mirror and see what's going on. With this, which is like a 5X, it looks fine, but when I looked in a 10X, it looked, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but right around here, it's looking a little iffy. Now that I've shown you a close-up, you can see I definitely need to shave my mustache, so that could be part of the iffiness up here. But just looking in a regular mirror, I think it looks lovely. Looking in 5X, it looks absolutely fine, but it is beginning to feel a little bit dry. And I don't see anything in the crevices. It's clear. It's not like things have gathered. My under eyes look horrible. I had a cry. Sorry. TMI, right? It looks really, really pretty, actually. I was wearing my glasses and there's not a lot of rub off, a little bit of rub off, but I feel a little tight right through here. And let me get this mirror and see if I'm seeing anything. I just got a battery alert. So yeah, the only thing I guess I really have to report is there's a dry feeling right through here. It looks fine, but it feels a little bit dry. All right. Back tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll try it with a brush. Day 1. So I came back and I told you I was feeling a little dry. After that, I took Grace out for a hike later, several hours later, and it was humid and I sweat. I am a person who sweats quite easily. My body's very heat efficient, I suppose you could say. When I came back, you know, the beads of sweat all over the place. I didn't touch anything, waited for 15-20 minutes, looked in a 10X, and everything looked really good. Nothing went away. If I had done this, probably would have, but nothing went away. It didn't look like it was breaking up. I will say though, in my 10X, I don't know if this is something I would have noticed in this mirror here, which is probably a 2X or 3X or 5X, that it was a little bunchy right here. Now, I do have bad eyesight and I probably squint a lot, even though I wear readers. I'm probably like, oh, why is this font so small? So maybe that's why it was bunchy. Maybe it wasn't agreeing with my sunscreen, or maybe it was the combination of the, squinting, sunscreen, and sweat, but a little bit bunchy right here. But it didn't look bunchy in the beginning of the day, so that kind of is something that happened. I have to say, the first day, I wasn't that impressed. I'm like, it's all right. But then we have the second day, and this I'll be talking through. The second day is today. I did my Mineral Magic sunscreen today. I haven't worn it in a really long time, and I finished it today. And I have no backups. I'm so bummed. I have to get some more. This has a slight peachy to yellowy tone to it, but not in an egregious manner, and it helps to cut back on the redness in my face. But I wore it today because yesterday's sunscreen was Innisfree, and that leaves the face very shiny even though it does set. And I wanted to see what the real radiance was to this foundation without the benefit or hindrance of a very shiny sunscreen. So this is it. It's not matte, but it is one of the more matte sunscreens that I own. And I was just thinking of the new one from Naked Sunday's, Cabana Cream, which I've been wearing quite a lot. But this one I've been wearing for years, so I thought it would be better for me to judge wearing something that I've worn for years and years and years. Then I went ahead with the foundation, and this time I used the brush. So first day I used fingers, I used sponge. Today this is a brush from Rephr, and I'm very deeply in love with it. I love it for many reasons. Reason one, it seems to make my application so much faster than Fingers or Beauty Blender. Two, it blends really, really well. Three, I have yet to come across a foundation where it leaves brush marks. I like the slant, I like the size, I just adore this brush. And as you can see, I've been showing you the B-roll right here, how fast the application and how even the application was. Pulling you in close so you can see a nice look of what was going on here. And if I have any comments, I'll be putting them in right now. And I don't remember, even though it was just an hour ago, if I did. So let's move on. Usually I go to my eyes. My eyes take me, 10 minutes, maybe less, but I want to let everything synchronize. The skincare, the sunscreen, and the foundation settle in before I go on with cream or liquid products, and today I didn't. Today I went in right away. I happened to get samples at Nordstrom of the new YSL blushes, and so I tried this one, the lavender color, and I applied with fingers, although I have used this with this brush from Alexandra Anel, the dark color that I actually have. And I think actually if you have a dark color, as an aside, this might be better, but with this color, since it's so light, no problem at all. It didn't pick up any of the foundation, it didn't get bunchy, it didn't get strange, and it looked lovely and seamless on the skin. Because I think this shade might be a tad too light for me, I thought let's do a little bronzer. Yesterday I did a powder, and today I went in with, I put it back already, with the Merit Beauty in the shade Clay. And I picked it up with an Anastasia brush, which is a highlighter brush, but I gave it a try, and it worked great. It worked fantastically well. So that brush, more than one use, the foundation and cream and liquid, so far, no issues at all. At this time though, I still had a lot of sheen, as you can see in this B-roll, and that's too much sheen for me. It's a little bit much. Once in a while it's fun to do that, but I am getting older. My birthday's on Tuesday, and I'm beginning to see things that are definitely signs of aging, that I don't want that much sheen. I do like a finish that this finish is now. There's a teeny bit of sheen, there's a skin-like thing going on, but it's not shiny. This one is shiny. Now yesterday I put powder on, and my midday, as you know, I felt really dry right here, but I didn't see anything very strange. It is within the realm of possibility. I put on too much powder. That could have been why I was uncomfortable. It was very, very possible. Today I worked with that in mind, and I went a little bit lighter, not so much on my forehead, but everywhere else went a little bit lighter. And as you can see, it takes to powder super, super well. Yeah, I'm just going to pull in now. So this is like 20 minutes ago. Look how beautiful these cheeks look. They have just enough sheen where they look like youthful, beautiful skin. I'm not seeing any pores. I'm not feeling any dryness. Again, you know, 3 or 5x here. In a 10x could be a different story, but nobody has eyesight that good, so who cares? I brought this blush up to the eyes because I knew I wanted to do a lavender look today, and I went on with this blush from Valentino, which also has a lavender. So I had a couple of lavenders going on here, and I had powdered right here, but I hadn't powdered over here, and it was great. I used my squirrel brush, and with the squirrel brush you can really feel if there's drag because it's not as stiff as a goat brush, and there were no problems at all. I was pleasantly surprised. I started gingerly, and then when I pulled it up, I was thinking could be some drag here, and absolutely not. So it worked very well with powders as well. Then I turned off the camera and I did my eyes, and my eyes are Viseart, and Viseart has a little blush in there as well, and I decided let's do just a little bit more of that and to really get that lavender look going on. And again, no problem at all. The light is different. I closed my door because it's getting hot, which is why the shirt is now tied around me like a tube top. No problems. There's no pulling. And another thing I like to check if I'm questioning, get my magnifying and I look at the brush to see if the hairs on the brush are kind of sticking together. That really lets me know how wet something is, and they are not. And again, no problem at all. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's talk about coverage. I would say it's medium coverage. I will say, as you saw on the first day, that it was buildable. It didn't look like, oh, you didn't blend in your foundation when I built on my cheeks, so that's really nice. It was, after I washed Grace and I got sweaty, it was much more comfortable, so that really makes me think the powder was making me dry. I felt that the wear was great. Again, you know, because I told you that I don't really have a problem with wear with foundations. So that check, that was really lovely. The shade, I don't think is too bad. I think it'll look much nicer on me. Well, just from the time I put it on to now, which is probably a solid 45 minutes difference, you can see how the light is changing, and now it doesn't look like it doesn't match. When I first put it on, the face looked a little too white. I found also yesterday the same thing. Things sink in, the light changes, and I'm thinking, pretty good shade for me. So that's shade 7. So there aren't any other claims that I can say yes or no. Works well with creams, works well with liquids, works well with powders before I powder and after I powder. So that's not a problem. It doesn't get gooky on my brush. I did do a little check after I finished doing the Viseart blush with my magnifying glass, because the brush reveals a lot, especially again if it's squirrel. If the hairs are sticking together, that means that the goopiness of the foundation is transferring. This foundation feels, you'll note it immediately. God, I don't even know how to describe it. It feels emollient. So it's liquidy and emollient, and it has this comforting feel. I think, you know, if I were skiing, it's cold, it's dry, going downhill, that wind on your face, I feel like this would be comforting me from that, protecting me from that. So that's kind of an emollient, slightly cushy feeling to it. If you use a lot, which the first day I did, because it was a different application, you're going to get more of that feeling. Today with the brush, I used less. I was really able to stretch. It has very good stretch, and I don't feel that it feels as emollient. So application and how much will help determine what's it going to feel like for you. The question is, am I going to buy this? This is the problem for me. Very specifically, I have a beauty channel and I own a lot of foundations. So I think I really have to think about what I'm going to get next. The Bobbi Brown, I'm definitely going to get. I just have to go to the mall to get a couple more colors and see what's best for me. And Bobbi Brown is having a sale right now, 25% off. So I should probably do that today, but I really have other stuff to do, namely editing this. But I want to check the Fenty again, which I really, really was loving, and check it to this to see, okay, if I'm going to get two foundations, which two is it going to be? The Bobbi Brown and the Fenty, the Bobbi Brown and this. The thing about this that I don't like, that is a check for maybe not, is it is so shiny before I powder it. Once it's powdered, it holds that powder, so I'm not going to get much more sheeny for the rest of the day than this. So at first it looked quite matte, and now it looks like I can see that skin-like sheen to it. And it will pretty much stay this way unless it gets incredibly humid or incredibly hot. But initially, it's just too shiny. I'm kind of shocked that a makeup artist would do something this shiny. And even today when I had less product on and more of a matte sunscreen, I still felt like, wow, what's going on here? What is the intention with something so shiny? I will say Patrick Ta probably is not a brand that considers skin types that are, well, skins that are older than 32. That's my guess. Just from his social media and whatnot. I think to him, we're invisible. Maybe he didn't even think, hey, it doesn't work so well on older skin. It needs to be a little toned down. It is what it is. I think it's lovely. And it's interesting because the first day I thought, I even talked to my friend Tamara, and I said, I don't think I like this. And it was all in the application. The brush made all the difference. So there you go, you guys. That's it. That is a review of the brand new Patrick Ta Major Skin Hydra-Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation for Natural Glow. Nobody glows naturally this much. I will say that. And yeah, any questions, let me know. I am Kiki. I want to thank you for spending time with me. I hope it was helpful. I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be smart, be safe, and I'm wishing you good health.